ASUS gaming monitors may fail to turn on due to power supply issues, standby mode glitches, or firmware corruption. Let's examine each cause and focus on quick fixes. First, power supply issues are common. Check that the AC adapter is securely connected and the cable isn't damaged. Second, standby mode glitches can prevent the monitor from waking up. Unplug the power cord for 30 seconds, then reconnect and try turning it on. Third, firmware corruption is the most common cause. Many issues resolve with a firmware update, which fixes bugs in power management and standby protocols. First, inspect your monitor's power adapter and cable for any visible damage such as fraying, cuts, or bent pins. Ensure the connections are secure and undamaged. If using an external adapter, verify its output voltage with a multimeter. The voltage should be between 11.5 and 20.5 volts DC for ASUS gaming monitors. Finally, try connecting the monitor to a different power outlet. This rules out any issues with your current electrical outlet, such as loose wiring or power fluctuations. ASUS monitors use standby modes to conserve energy when not in use. This helps reduce power consumption, but can sometimes lead to the monitor getting stuck in a deep standby state, where it won't respond to power buttons or input signals. One simple fix is power cycling. Unplug the monitor from its power source and wait 30 seconds to allow capacitors to discharge completely. If power cycling doesn't work, use the physical reset button located on the rear of the monitor. This restores factory settings and can clear software glitches. Finally, check the on-screen display settings to ensure Quick Start is enabled. This allows the monitor to wake up instantly when it detects a signal, preventing standby issues. Firmware is embedded software that controls your monitor's hardware operations, including power management and standby modes. Outdated or corrupted firmware is a major cause of power issues, leading to boot loops, unresponsive displays, and standby failures. First, visit the ASUS support website for your specific model to find the correct firmware. Download the latest firmware version and the ASUS Firmware Update tool from the support page. Use a USB drive to create a bootable firmware update. Ensure the drive is properly formatted and not write protected. Run the Firmware Update tool to flash the new firmware onto your monitor. Be cautious during this process, as interrupting the firmware update can permanently damage your monitor, rendering it unusable. Ensure your power supply is stable and avoid disconnecting any cables. First, visit the ASUS support website and download the latest firmware version for your specific monitor model. Next, format a USB flash drive to FAT32 file system. This ensures compatibility with the monitor's firmware update process. Copy the firmware file you downloaded to the root directory of the formatted USB drive. Insert the USB drive into one of the USB ports located on the back of your ASUS monitor. Press the menu button on your monitor to open the on-screen display or OSD menu. In the OSD menu, find and select the Firmware Update option. Follow the on-screen instructions to complete the update. Important, do not turn off the monitor or unplug it during the update process. When your ASUS gaming monitor powers on but displays no signal or a black screen, the issue often lies with display connections or software settings. First, inspect your display cables, whether HDMI or DisplayPort. Make sure they are firmly plugged into both the monitor's input port and your PC's graphics card output. Loose connections are a common cause of no signal issues. To eliminate cable faults, try a different HDMI or DisplayPort cable. Defective cables can prevent signal transmission even if they appear intact. Finally, check your PC's BIOS settings to confirm the primary display output is set correctly, and update your graphics card drivers to the latest version to resolve compatibility issues. If the previous troubleshooting steps don't resolve the issue, the problem may be a hardware defect, such as a faulty capacitor or internal power supply component. Hardware defects can affect the monitor's power delivery and standby functions. The internal circuit board contains various components that may fail over time. A common hardware issue is bulging capacitors, which can cause power failures or phantom standby modes. These capacitors store electrical charge and should appear flat. If your ASUS monitor is still under warranty, contact ASUS support for repair or replacement. They've extended support periods for select gaming models. For monitors out of warranty, consider professional repair services to safely diagnose and fix issues like faulty power rails or component failures. ASUS is evolving gaming monitors with integrated diagnostics and AI-assisted troubleshooting for smarter operation. Future monitors will self-diagnose power fluctuations and receive over-the-air firmware updates, eliminating the need for USB drives. Expect monitors to become more autonomous, with proactive monitoring and machine learning reducing power-related issues by up to 40% by 2030. USB-C docking will minimize cable failures by 25%,